In today's Sharp Saturday video, we're going to take a look at another pretty budget price throwing knife from the folks at Cold Steel. This time it's going to be the Dagger thrower. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me for another Sharp Saturday video where it's Saturday and we take a look at something sharp. Today's something sharp is, again, this Dagger throwing knife from the folks at Cold Steel Knives. And as I said, this is a reasonably budget price knife. I bought this one at Big Daddy Unlimited for $17.99, which is a good segue to thank the folks at Big Daddy Unlimited for making these Sharp Saturday videos possible by creating a situation where you can go to survivalonpurpose.com/BDU, get your first month's membership at Big Daddy Unlimited for just 99 cents, get in the membership site, check it out, see if there's anything you like, see if it'll save you money. If you think it will and you stick around at the regular membership price of $10 a month or 99 bucks a year, they'll throw me a couple of bucks for introducing us. So if you save money and it supports the channel, it's a win-win for everybody. So that being said, this is the Dagger throwing knife. Cold Steel. This one's made to the exact specifications of world famous knife thrower Dagger, who apparently has been on TV all over the place, and is kind of like the throwing knife trainer for the stars whenever Hollywood wants to teach somebody how to throw knives, or at least to look like they're throwing knives on a movie. They go to Dagger. So pretty cool here. I also like this one because it does actually have an edge on it. We're going to test that out and just to see. You know, a lot of throwing knives don't. A lot of throwing knives are just basically hunks of steel with sort of a point on them. This one has a really nice point on it and an edge. So let's talk about the specs real quick and we'll get to doing some of that throwing knife stuff. So first of all, this knife is a hefty sucker. It weighs like 15.9 ounces, which I really like because I just like heavier knives because it helps them to stick better. It gives a lot more mass, a lot more momentum to stick. The blade thickness on this is 5 millimeters. Not sure what that is in inches, but it's probably somewhere a little more than 1/8 of an inch because I didn't look it up. I apologize. This thing has an overall length of 14 inches. Again, I like that. I like bigger ones. With 7.5 inches of that being blade and 6.5 being handle. So the balance point on this thing is about right there. So pretty balanced. And then the manufacturer's retail is $29.99. I paid, as I said, $17.99 for this on Big Daddy Unlimited. It is 1050 high carbon steel. So there's all that. Let me just show you some close-ups of the blade here. So it has a really nice, looks like a really nice edge on it. There's a kind of a focus on the point. It's a really nice point. I've said before, I think especially as a beginner, it's really important to have a sharp, pointy knife because it helps them stick. And the easier they are to stick, the more confidence it's going to give you and the less discouraging it's going to be. There's nothing more discouraging than having a knife hit straight on and then just bounce off, and which a lot of them will do because a lot of times they'll have a shape this way, but there'll be no tapering this way. So it'll be just a flat piece of steel with a kind of a point this way again, but the very point's probably whatever thickness the blade is how thick it is at the tip. And these are not. These actually have a ground tip on them with a little bit of a blade. So we're going to see how well this thing will do some actual knife stuff. And then it's pretty cool to have a throwing knife that you could actually use for a knife too. Or have a knife that you could use for a knife and you could actually throw one or the other. There's that. I'll stop rambling. Let's take it down to the old stump top and get to doing some of that knife stuff. Okay, here is, as you see, the Dagger throwing knife. And as I said, it does have an edge, so we're going to try the edge out and see how it works. So first of all, we got to do the redneck sharp test because that's what I try to do with all knives because I want to be scientific, and that is pretty much an industry standard sharpness test. So we're going to see if this thing will. And no, it didn't pass the redneck sharp test, which I've not really had many throwing knives that did. How about the paper cutting test? Another non-standard test, but everybody wants to see it. And okay, sorta. Just one more time. It's gotta really slice that thing. So, okay, so it sort of did okay. We'll give it a B on that one. Maybe a B minus, B plus. We'll call it B plus. So there's that. Now I've got these little curls over here, and I'm gonna move them out of the way. So something we can do with this thing to try to do with it is a little bit of chopping. So I got a hard piece of privet here, okay? just gonna chop on the end of it. This thing has a pretty uncomfortable feeling handle for doing any kind of heavy stuff. The edges are they're not straight 90, but they're probably like 89.9 degrees. So, and they don't have a lot of rounding on them, which is fine for throwing, not necessarily for doing some heavy work, but we're gonna chop a little bit with it and see what happens. So just to see how well it'll chop. So, because it's a pretty heavy knife, but honestly, you got to get it just right. You hold it on the very back here, and you kind of get this part of the blade. It seems to be maybe have enough momentum to bite. But not really comfortable. You see my hand is already getting kind of red there at the web. So, but there's that. Let's try a little bit of carving just to see. Again, not super sharp. Let's see if I can find something here to carve on. So I can get it. It's got a choil, kind of a choil here, and these big lumps here. And which, when I hold it in the choil, that lump bites into my hand right there. So it's not really comfortable, but that gives you the most control over it to try to get some. I mean, you can carve it. It's getting a few little feathers here. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's getting some feathers carved. But, or curls, or whatever you want to call them. For some reason, I call them feathers. I don't know why. So I'm able to get some, as you can see. There we go. Just find the right spot. So functional that way. And again, it's got at least a really good starter edge on it. So if you needed to sharpen it up even more, you could. But not too shabby there. What about my old standby favorite? Let me grab out of storage here, the old fat wood. Let's see if we can scrape a little bit. See how it does on scraping. It should do okay, but let's just see. Oh yeah, look at that. Now see this edge, it's not comfortable on my hand. It's great for scraping. Look at that, would you just look at it. Oh man, I can smell that from here. Okay, so. Oh, smell that? Oh man, it's just great. Okay, back in storage. Now, having said all of that, I can tell you that it is completely uncomfortable to do any of those tasks with. It's just not. It's these humps here. They're probably great for throwing. They're really horrible to hold on to. Once you get your hand up in that choil, these things bite into your palm, as I said. And if you go back here, even these little ones bite into your palm, and you don't have nearly as much leverage for carving, because the further away you are from the cutting edge, the more strain it puts on your wrist, which is why a lot of people want to choke up on it like this. It gives you the most leverage and the easiest, most control, I guess. But that being said, let's try one more thing. So I got my ferro rod here from my friends at 5 Star Gear. Let's just see. Okay, I got some of that fat wood there. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, so, man, it passes that test with flying colors. So, what do you think we could do now? I mean, it is a throwing knife, right? Okay, so, let's get a quick recap. As far as the practical use of this knife, even though it does have an edge, it did not pass the redneck sharp test, which I think is the industry standard for sharpness. It did, say, a B+ on the paper cutting test. Chopping, we'll give it a strong C. Did okay on chopping. It did better than I thought on carving, but for as far as comfort goes, it's going to get a D-. It's just these design, especially these humps here, they really do. When you put any kind of hard use and really trying to put some grip, it hurts my hand. So you could probably wrap that, or you could wear some gloves. So again, it's not designed for a full use knife. It is a throwing knife, but it's always good to test those things. And it does have a blade. So in a pinch, if you have these along just for playing, you can certainly use it for a knife. And that's always good. I like multi-use stuff. But as you know, here at Survival on Purpose, we are all about the science. And to that end, we maintain a state-of-the-art cutting edge knife testing facility. And one of the industry standard testing procedures we like to do is to test the aerodynamic balance of all fixed blades, especially throwing knives, on our balance, orientation, and rotation device. So I think we ought to do that. You want to? And remember, proper scientific method is important. Whoop, 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 whoop. Again. Once more. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, that is 3 out of 3. We're gonna call this one done, but you know what? It's just so much fun, I have to do it once more. The bonus throw. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And of course, the bonus throw has to be a dud. So we'll call this one the bonus 2. All right, now we'll call it done. Okay. That sucker's in there. So just final thoughts on this knife. I think, as I said, it's designed to be a throwing knife. As far as actual use, the design maybe leaves a little bit to be desired as far as comfort. I'm telling you, as far as throwing, I guess Jack Dagger kind of knows what he's doing, because this thing throws beautifully. A couple things I think really help that. The handles, you can see, is slightly tapered. It's a little thinner back here than it is here. So there's nothing to drag it. It comes out of your hand great. It releases excellently. And these little things here, they're just kind of a good index, right? These little humps. But I think what really helps it is kind of a slightly weight forward design. It's got enough mass to it, and it's got a dadgum point on it. And that's a good thing on a throwing knife. So if you're looking for a really handy throwing knife that'll help you improve your skills and build your confidence at not a crazy price. Like I said, this one was 18 bucks. I've reviewed a lot of throwing knives that cost a lot more. I think this is a really good one for you. So just another video in my semi-budget, or at least semi-budget, throwing knife series, and I hope this has been helpful. Remember, throwing knives is just good, plain fun. Every time I do this, somebody says, hey, I wouldn't throw my weapon, blah, blah, blah. I think it definitely could be a martial art, but it's also just good, clean fun. Have fun, lighten up, it's okay. Everything doesn't have to be all super tactical. So there's that. Anyway, I'll shut up. Thanks for watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.